California, stay away from here. Stay away from here now. Don't come in here. Whatever you hear, stay away. John Doe has the upper hand.
What's in the box?
Greetings, everyone. Steve, Paracord Artist. How you doing today? Hopefully your weaving's been happy. Okay, what I have for you today is another edition of the always funny What's in the Box? Don't look at the box. What's in the box? But before we get to the box, as always, let me talk at you for a little bit. I actually got something to say today. I don't have much to show, but what I have to show kind of leads into something I want to talk about. Okay, let's see. First off, I've had a lot of subscribers in the past, I don't know, week. So, for that, thank you. I just throw this out there. I say this kind of at the beginning of every one of these videos. What this is obviously I've gotten a package. I'm going to open it up, show what I've got. But I also will show some of the projects and things that I have made since one of these last videos. Well, unfortunately today, most of what I've made has already been shipped out, so I don't actually have them on hand. But I also, and this will come into play today, I do color comparisons. I've said this, I'll say this briefly. When you go to a Paracord supplier's webpage and you look at all the different colors, like, for example, Type 3 550 Paracord, you'll see a picture of the color. And that's most often what people look at. What's the color look like? Okay? And whether they realize it or not, let's just say, it's a green. Okay? First thing they do, whether they realize it or not, is in the back of their head, they're comparing what they're seeing on that screen to greens they already have in their inventory, their personal inventory. And thinking, is it lighter, darker? Is it going to match this color? Is it going to match that color green? Is this going to work for me? That kind of thing, right? Well, with all that said, like I've said so many times in the past, that picture on that computer screen, phone, whatever, on that Paracord supplier's website may not, and most often is not, a true representation of what that color is actually going to look like when you get it in your hand. Why is that? Because of lighting, the camera being used, camera angle, all these little factors come into it, right? Now, this is no fault at all of these Paracord companies. It's just a fact. That's the way cameras and lighting and all this stuff work. Like I said, I'm not a filmmaker. I know how to make paracord bracelets. But I do know this, right? It's not going to be a perfect representation. Now, you may think to yourself, well, I'll look at this green I want to buy and a picture of a green on their website that I already have, and I'll compare the two pictures. I know I find myself doing that quite often. Well, guess what? Maybe the day they took those two pictures for those two separate colors, the lighting was slightly different, or they used a different camera, or they're at a different angle, or whatever. That comes into play. It's not going to be, most likely, it's not going to be a true representation of what you're going to actually see when you get that cord physically in your hand, right? So, what I do a lot of times when I get colors in, they don't have to be new colors for my inventory, just simply colors. I will take that color and lay it out next to other colors in similar placement on a color wheel. Greens. I'll lay out a bunch of greens, tell you what they are. Now, like I said, I don't have the best lighting, I don't have the best camera, but it is the same lighting and the same camera. So all of them, you're going to get a true comparison of what they look like. Now, I know sometimes those colors, even with my camera, any camera, it's not going to translate through the video to you. Sometimes what I see with my naked eye will look more green than what you're seeing on the video. The video will make it look blue, when in fact, this actually looks more green. You see what I'm saying? But I will vocalize that and share that information. And this, for those of you who want to be a quote-unquote Paracord artist, I've been called that so many times. People have said, you are a true Paracord artist. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But it comes down to working with colors. Yes, you got to know how to do the paracord aspect, but you got to have that artsy. How do they hit your left brain? I guess is the way they describe. I think that's the way they describe it sometimes. But you got to be able to work with colors. Well, that comes to comparing colors, contrasting colors, complementary colors, analogous colors, all these kind of things. That basic art class you took your freshman year in high school, where you had the really weird art teacher. I know our art teacher was strange. She was hilarious, but she was a little off kilter. But right, that's most artists are. And hey, I'm the same way. I'm not putting anybody down. I include myself in that. But you see what I'm saying? You got to have some basic art knowledge, right? Anyway, but I do these color comparisons, and today I've got quite a few colors, and we're going to do some comparisons. I figured I got a lot of colors. I don't have much to show. There you go. Okay, now, with that, I'll say this too. If you're new, or for anybody, always look in the description below, especially any YouTube video, but especially mine. Why? Because I will put links down there to stuff. Yes, I'm going to have the standard links that I put in pretty much every video. Links to this playlist I've created, links to this playlist I've created, all that kind of stuff. But things that I mention in this video, if I tell you I'm going to put it down there, I try my best to remember to put it down there. But what I do, this is what I do. When I film this, I go back and I watch it before I upload it. And I watch through it and I make notes of what I've said. And I go, yeah, let's put that link in there too. So I may not mention in the video, yeah, the link's down there, but guess what? It might be down there. Makes sense? So always check the links down there. There might be some useful information, some good resources, something, whatever. Okay, let's see. Next, hey, it's my video. I can do it if I want. Shameless plug. And I just got the tutorial for this one up this morning. If this gets uploaded today, which it probably won't until tomorrow. But either way, the newest tutorial is up. It's for this right here. How to weave a stitched modified dignity. I put it in the cards and the description below. Okay, now, with that said, okay, I'm trying to figure out how to segue this all into a logical, a chain of logic that's going to make sense. Let's see, I'll show you some stuff that I've already showed in the past, but it kind of leads into where I'm going with this. Let's see. For those who follow me on social media, not so much on Instagram. I haven't posted a lot of this on the Instagram, my Instagram profile, because a lot of it's practice. But I do post it on the Facebook social media platform. I'll post some of my practice stuff there. But I've been wanting to get into learning how to do dog leashes, right? Specifically, the whipping around dog leashes. I've seen people do like kahumimo. How do you say it? Kuhimimo, I guess. The little braiding disc with a hole in the middle of grooves, and they'll use 550 strands, and they'll do 8-strand braid, 12-strand herringbone braid, all that kind of stuff. I don't know much about that, but that's not what I'm interested in. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Looks great. That's just not what I'm interested in. But I'm talking more along the lines of whipping around the dog leash rope. It's 10 millimeter. Well, you can get it 6, 8, 10, and 12 millimeter dog leash rope. It's 48 strands. You can either get it nylon or PPM, polypropylene, and you'll see in a second. You'll see what I'm talking about. If you don't quite understand, you'll see in a second. But so I ordered some basic supplies, and I've been practicing this and this and that, and this is one of these things. Listen, I'll throw this out there. This is one of these things that, okay, listen, let me preface this by saying I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm not trying to upset anybody at all. That's not the intent of this. The intent of this is to hopefully let us learn to think for ourselves, not to be robots following the person right in front of us, if that makes any sense, okay? A lot of times in the paracord community, people simply want to watch a tutorial on how to make bracelet X. And they make it, and that's it. They don't think beyond that. They don't think of all the elements they're using to make that bracelet. Now, I'm going to go ahead and be honest with you. In a bracelet, there's not very many elements to work with. Here, 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 pull tight, bam, you're done. Right? But there are ways to modify things, change things, all that. But most people, they don't do that. They simply follow that tutorial to the letter and produce the bracelet. The amount of thinking or creativity, artistic expression, is they pick their own colors. Does that make sense? Now, I have had people in the past ask me, and they ask me, I've seen them ask other people. Now, does it apply to this other stuff? I don't know. But for some of the things that I've posted, I've had people ask me, is there a tutorial for that? Do you want the quick and easy answer, or do you want the honest but thoroughly explained answer? The quick and easy answer is, no, there's no tutorial for that. The honest but thoroughly explained answer is, there is a tutorial for each individual element of what I've done. But that's where your cognitive reasoning, creativity, and artistic expression come in, and you have to think of how to incorporate each of these different elements into, combine them all, incorporate them all into one piece. And that's where I see so many people, it's like a brick wall. They don't get, if there's not a tutorial showing them specifically what to do, how to do this by the numbers, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 3, 4, 5, then they freeze up and they don't know. Think, stop, slow down, think about it. Think about, you've learned how to tie a diamond knot. You've learned how to tie a snake knot. Okay, you don't need a tutorial on how to do a knife lanyard that incorporates a diamond knot and a snake knot on the same lanyard. You don't need the tutorial by the numbers to show you to do that. You know how to do the two elements, not just put them on the same lanyard. You see, that's a very oversimplistic way of explaining it, but that's what I'm talking about. Like I said, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I see so many people that is there a tutorial for that? No, there's not. But there's one for that element, and that element, and that element, and that element, and that element. Now you've got to learn how to do all those things as individual things. Then you've got to sit down and think about it. Okay, how would I do all this? Which order would I do all these things? And that's where I struggle with it too. I'll get there in a second. Which order would I do all these things in order to incorporate all those elements onto one piece, one project? Right? Because sometimes you got to do them in a certain order or it's not going to turn out right. Make sense? Okay, now with that said, like I say, sometimes cognitive reasoning, your ability as a human being to think, not blindly follow the person in front of you. And I say that in all kindness, but that's the best way I know how to describe it. Cognitive reasoning, creativity, and artistic expression to come up with this stuff. Okay. Now, that's what I think about. I tell you, I'm always thinking about, that's the kind of stuff I'm thinking about. That and color, all that. But that's one of these things that I'm always thinking about. How can I do this, that. Put it all together. Okay, now, with all that said, I'm going to show you. I said in the past, I wanted to do some dog leashes. Okay, so I'll show you what the kind of progression of what I've done. Here was the first thing I did. Let me zoom in so we can see this. Okay, we're going somewhere with this. We're going somewhere with all this. Okay, here's your basic. Yeah, that's not glued on there. What is that, a 40? That's a 40 caliber pew-pew casing, right? I seen somebody post one, and I asked them, I said, what size dog leash represent? They said 10 millimeter. I'm like, oh, it'll fit. They said, yeah. It fits on there, just like a regular end cap. And I was like, okay. And I put it on there to see it. I just never took it off. But anyway, this is what's known as 40 millimeter, or no, 10 millimeter dog leash rope. This is nylon, and it's a 48 strand outer sheath, if you will, right? Now, like I said, they make this They make this in 6mm, 8mm, 10mm, and I think there's some that's 12mm. This is nylon. They also make it in PPM, or polypropylene, right? Okay. Well, what you do, you can make it into a keychain, which I'll show in a second, or a dog leash, which I'll show in a second. On one end, you make this loop real big, and that's your handhold where you'd hold it. The other end is where you would put your snap, crackle, and pop hook, your swivel eye, carabiner hook, whatever, the lobster clamp, whatever you want to call it. It actually would clip onto the dog collar, right? Well, these two cords, this right here is known as multicolored whipping. This is not what's holding these cords together. It has been sewn, what is this? This is turquoise. This turquoise dog leash rope has been sewn together up under here. That's what's actually holding it together. Now, in order to cover up that sew job and to make it look pretty, this is simply a decorative cover. Now, don't get me wrong. This is adding security to holding those cords together, but that's not its purpose. Its purpose is for decoration. This is where the artistic creation comes in, picking the colors and actually doing it, right? Okay, so that's like your basic model of what to do, right? Now, like I said, you got a loop here. This would be where your little snap hook would be to connect to the collar. The other end will terminate, however long you want it, like it is here basically. And then this would stretch all the way out to where the other end is done just like this, and that loop's bigger, and it'd be the handhold, right? There you go, dog leash. Okay, now like I said, you can do this all in one color, and I've seen people do that. I've seen people do it, and they incorporate like a little metal plate tag type thing, dog's name, or, whatever. All right, but this is like the step up, multicolored whipping. Now I've kind of evenly spaced it, so to speak, or whatever, but you can do as many colors as you want, blah, 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 down through there, right? Okay, that's that. Now, I did this one. Here's the next step up, I guess you could say. Same thing. This is 10mm black polypropylene dog leash rope, right? Same thing, multicolored whipping. Well, let's see what colors we got. Turquoise, acid purple, lilac, and passion pink. This is black, and then this is, what is this? Turquoise and charcoal gray. And people are like, man, those colors look great. Yeah, I didn't choose the colors. The colors chose me. Those two pieces right there of micro cord, it's two real long pieces, right? I had two long pieces of it in my scrap. And I said, let's use those. Instead of cutting some off the spool, let's just use those. And I'll go with however long they are, and that's what I'll make. And it turned out really good. The colors look good together. But that's one way of doing it. And what it does, let's see if I can show you this. If you look, I've showed this in a past video. You see these little notches right here. What that is when you're whipping around and you stop, the lilac, it doesn't stop, it's just you stop whipping. You want the color to stop. The cord's that's not the end of the cord, that's just where that color stops and the next color starts. You get this little notch in there, right? That's just the way it is. There's no way around it. That's just what it is. Well, a friend of mine who does this, she said if you do it right and you place those notches and you line them up just right, in the ends you can come back and do these two little extra cords and they cover over those notches. So that's a decorative cover over the top of what is already a decorative cover. Let that bake in your brain housing group for a minute. But you see, that's what that is. Okay. Now, the next step up would be this crisscross type stuff, right? And you can see where I've done under the back side of it. If you look right there, you can see where it's tucked under and it's a big lump. Well, it's not supposed to look that way, right? And the videos are kind of hard to find because I speak English. I can't read or write a foreign language fluently. I understand terms and words or whatever. So a lot of the videos for this are in a foreign language. So I don't even know how to search for them because the foreign term, key phrases you'd search for are in foreign language. And plus, when you actually do find the videos, they don't show you much of the setup and the finish. They show you them wrapping it. Well, I can wrap. I don't need you to show me how to do that. But that's kind of the principle. What is this one? Pastel pink, acid purple, grease blue, and passion pink. Right? I ended some of them right there. Little cut and burn right there. Looks great on the front. Not the best finished job because I don't know how to shade it up and all that kind of stuff. Okay, did that one. Then I tried another one, and I did it. It turned out a little bit better. What is this? Aubergine. What we hear in the United States, especially in the South, in Alabama, where we country redneck, eggplant. Aubergine. That's what they, I guess, that's French. French people would call what we call an eggplant, they would call it aubergine. Well, that's the name of this color. It's not really dark purple like an eggplant. It's more of a dark red wine, like maybe a burgundy or something. But it's not burgundy. It's like a wine color, right? But this is, what is this? I want to say it's emerald green and passion pink. And then right here is, what is it? Is that Viva La Vino? Let me see. Hang on. I'll take, oh, goodness. Yeah. Viva La Vino and rose pink. Right? Front looks great. Looks great. Back actually looks pretty good too. But if you look close, you can see where these two strands here, they go up under right there. And not, like I said, not quite sure how to set this up and finish it. And the difficult thing with this is one big long piece. All these two colors right here is one long piece that gets wrapped around. So you got to wrap it in such a way as that it's spaced correctly. Like, it's spaced evenly between where this green and this green. It's even between those, right? And you can see up under there is a solid wrapping of green, a whipping of green. Well, I had to get it spaced evenly there also. But, like, where you can see through it right here, this little green, this little triangle that's formed, that you can see green, yeah, see how they're not even? Does that make sense? You got to wrap, you got, all this is got to, and I'm like, oh. Plus, you've got all this microcord hanging out everywhere, and you're trying to wrap, not get tangled. It's not the easiest thing. It takes a long time. I mean, I probably wrapped this one 2 or 3 times. Yeah, it's not even. Unwrapped it. Did it again. Unwrapped it. Did it again. And then I'm like, what do I do with the ends? How do I hide them? How do I tuck them under and all that kind of stuff? But that one turned out a little bit better. Okay, then I tried something that I knew was going to be a little bit easier because I already know how to do this, and I watched the tutorial. Right? This is a 3-strand ring bolt hitch. Now, in the tutorial, they didn't do these Spanish ring knots on the end. They just did a solid color of whipping up here. And what that does is it covers the ends of these cords because the ends of these cords are tucked up behind this Spanish ring knot. Right? Now, they're sewed and they're tucked and all that kind of stuff. But in order to cover that up, they just did like a little, little bit of whipping in one color. It's a lot quicker, a lot simpler, a lot easier than doing this Spanish ring knot. But that Spanish ring knot looks so much better. Right? Right? Now, I did that one. And I know how to do this. And these I've done before. Whatever. I'm an expert on them now. I can pump these out. That was not my area of expertise. These type, quote-unquote, Turk head knots like this, that was not my area. But I can do these now, no problem. They take a little time because you got to tie it, then you got to put it on here, and then you got to tighten it up. And yeah, it takes a little time. But I did that one. Okay, then I wanted to actually make a dog leash, but I did a dog leash. I'll show that in just a second. But I did me a keychain after I kind of did all this, and I've done some others around here somewhere. I don't know where they are off the top of my head. But I tried this technique of how to start and where to do it. And then this one I tried. And I was like, I think I may be able to do it a certain way. The setup and the finish and all that. And I sat down and I made one and it turned out really well. So colors I like. People seem to love these colors also because they just look so good together. But I made this for myself. And the way I did it, it turned out pretty good, but it still come down to the spacing of everything, wrapping it and getting the spacing and all that. And it's just a nightmare. Somebody said, man, that looks great. They said, you're so humble. You say you're no good at this, but you produced that. I said, yeah, but what you don't realize is it took me about 4 or 5 hours to make this. Because I wrapped it and it was wrong, and I unwrapped it and I wrapped it, and I kept back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and I got it right, and it was spaced, and everything looked good. I said, if I was good, it wouldn't have taken me 4 or 5 hours to do. I could have done it a lot quicker. I said, but it's a learning process, right? Okay, so with that said, here's the keychain. Olive drab. And then this base of whipping is olive drab. And then I stitched it, or I did this crisscross type stitching in gold and maroon. And you can see the 3 colors running down it here. Let me pull that over. Maybe that'll help it. And it's just some gold hardware. End caps and a gold. Actually, that's not gold. That's solid brass ring, but it matched better the gold hardware than it did the brass end caps, I should say. Right? And there's the back of it. Now, because I got so many 3 cords there, that right there is a final cut and burn on all this cord right here. It's right there. So you can kind of see there's a little bit of a burn there, but it's on the back side. Now, the spacing of all this, it looks great on the front. The spacing, if you look, it's a little thicker right there. And you can see, like right here, that maroon is a double wide. It's because it's not spaced properly to get it. But that was the only way I could get it to do the way I wanted it to. It's hard to explain. Like I said, you got cords everywhere, and you're trying to do all this stuff. Oh, it's a nightmare. But it turned out really well. Like I said, it took me about 4 or 5 hours to do that, but it looks great. Okay, now, I did that one. This, actually, I did that. I did the dog leash. I'm going to show the dog leash. I made it first. And I did it in this method right here, right? Okay. Because this I know, this I'm more familiar with, and I'm not struggling to do this. This stuff right here I struggle with because I don't know how to set up the crisscross. The multicolored, that's no problem. I can do that. I knew I was going to be able to do that first time I did it because I know how to do whipping. I just had to figure out how do they actually do the multicolored and the mechanics of tucking everything. And I watched, I'm like, okay, that's no problem. All right, but this, I figured, yeah, I can do this. It'll take me a little while, but I can do it. I already know how to do the Spanish ring knot. I know how to do that element. I know how to do the 3-strand ring bolt hitch. I know how to do that element. You see what I'm saying? I know how to do all the different elements. Now I just got to combine them into one. Makes sense? That artistic expression. Now here's the dog leash rope. Now I know it's kind of short, but here's the end with the snap, crackle, and pop hook. Lobster clamp, whatever you call it. This is turquoise hardware on here. This is that pastel pink. And let's see, what is this? The Spanish ring knots are turquoise. And this is a 2-strand ring bolt hitch in passion pink and teal, or some places label it as dark turquoise. Right? So like I said, you got your hand hold on one end, and then the loose goes around to the other end. And this one turned out pretty good. I made this one, not for sale, nothing like that. It was just me messing around, learning. And this is one of those, like I said, you got to learn how to do all the different elements. How to put that end cap on, because I'll be honest with you, when I first bought this stuff, I seen this, and that end cap, I'm like, there is no way that end cap is going on that rope. And I looked and verified it. It said, make sure you buy the same size end cap as you do the rope. And I did. And I'm like, there ain't no way. Well, I went and watched the tutorial. It's like a minute long, and they show you how to do it. I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I see what they're doing now. And I did it, and it's no problem. But you got to learn how to do that. That's one element you got to learn how to do. How to learn how to do the Spanish ring knot. You got to learn how to do this. You know, all these different elements. You got to learn how to sew this stuff together. Like I said in the beginning, these two pieces of rope are sewn together up under here that's holding them together on both sides. You got to learn how to do that. Right? So all these different elements, you have to learn individually. And there's no one specific tutorial showing you how to do that. Now, there are tutorials out there. Paracord EU has a tutorial that's called How to Make a Retriever Leash from Start to Finish. And it's about 30 minutes long, and they go through, and I imagine they show you all the different aspects. Now, I haven't watched the entire thing. I've watched parts of it. And part of it, they've sampled or they clipped out to show you how to do this multicolored whipping, right? Okay. Like I said, they got a tutorial on showing you how to do this, but they don't do the Spanish ring knot. They do just basic whipping, right? So I've watched all these tutorials, all these different elements, and I just combine them into one. That's where the cognitive reasoning, my ability as a human being to think and not blindly follow what people in front of me are doing, not that they're doing it wrong. I want artistic creation, artistic expression, creativity, right? People say, is there a tutorial for that? No, there's not a tutorial for specifically that. But there's a tutorial for this element, this element, this element, and this element. Like 7 different tutorials. Then that's where you, as a paracord artist, and your cognitive reasoning skills and creativity come together, and you incorporate it all into your own work of art. Does that make sense? That's what I'm trying to say. And so many people don't. If they can't find the tutorial on how step A, by the numbers, step A, step B, step B, they don't do it. They want, they want somebody to spoon feed them. No, you're never going to learn anything like that. Challenge yourself and step up and try some new things. Try something. Make mistakes. I'm not kidding you. Make mistakes. That's how you learn. I've learned. Like a friend of mine, she said, it turned out so well. I said, yeah. She said, it looks like you know what you're doing. I said, no. I said, actually, I've learned how not to make a dog leash. I said, I'm going to have to write a book, 1,001 Ways How Not to Make a Dog Leash. Why? Because I tried all this, and I was doing things, and it just didn't work. Like, for example, you know, this was me. I'll throw out there, here's my stupid mistakes and whatever. Okay, when I did this, my initial thought was do this at the very end. Why? Because I don't want this metallic end cap on there as I'm flipping and flopping and all this stuff and it getting scratched. So wait till the end to do it. Well, that caused me one of my problems, right? And I showed my friend, and she said, oh, no. She said, I always put those on first. I'm like, and I stopped and I thought about it, and I'm like, okay, I see why you're saying that. It makes sense now why you would put those on first, right? Because my mind was, don't put it on because I don't want it to get scratched. And she's like, no, it just, you know, when you go to work with it, be careful that you don't sling it around and drag it across the concrete floor or whatever. She said, it's not going to get scratched. Just be careful. She said, but you do that first. I'm like, okay. So I went back and I put it on there and then when I went to feed that on there, guess what? That metal end cap will not go through the hole in there. So, yep, there's another mistake Kendall made. You see what I'm saying? You can't get that cap through the ring. Now, on some of these you probably can, but not on this specific one, the one I was going to use for a project. So I'm like, yep, there's another learning experience, Tyndall. So I cut it off and I put another one on there. You see what I'm saying? But it's all a learning experience, right? But it turned out, now that I figured out, I'm not going to say I'm an expert by any means, no, but it turned out pretty good. Right? Now, with all that said, I made my wife a keychain like this it's in different colors. It's the same thing. Actually, I did hers in this 3-strand ring bolt hitch with 2 Spanish ring knots. It's the same thing. It's just more of a teal turquoise overall kind of theme to it, color. And I put silver hardware, silver end caps, because it terminates right here. So it's got 2 end caps. And this end's got the little, just a little O-ring on it that you would attach your split ring to, or you could attach to the carabiner that the rest of your keys are on, or however you do it, right? Like I've said in the past, I never, let me say that one more time for anybody who didn't hear me, never will put a split ring direct contact with paracord. Whether it's just big, thick dog leash rope, microcord, 550, it doesn't do it. I will not put that split ring. Why? Because that seam right there that you open up to get your keys on there, that seam has the potential to snag that paracord. Whether it's this thick stuff or regular, 95, 550, whatever. Right? That's why I don't do it. I do not do it. I've learned the hard way, don't do that. Right? So, there you go. Okay, now, but there's that. And I've been slowly ordering it. I've watched some of my videos from the past, 2-3 weeks. I've been ordering hardware, different colors of this stuff, and all that kind of stuff, right? So that's, there is some fruit to my labor here. This I can do. I've got this figured out. Now, I'm not the fastest at it, and it takes a little while, and you can sit down and do it. Like last night, that keychain I made, it was basically like that. It took me about 3 hours to make, I think. But I was taking my time, making sure I was doing the steps right and all that kind of stuff. But as I do it more and more and more, I'll get faster at it. Because I won't have to stop and think, okay, what do I do next? What's the next step? Make sure I get the steps in order so that everything turns out. If you don't do the steps in order, what ends up happening? You have to cut your end cap off and redo it. You see what I'm saying? But it's all a learning process. But that's where different elements and our creativity or artistic expression comes into play, and you create your own work of paracord art, if you will. Make sense? Okay, now, with all that said, I've talked about that. Let's be done with that. I often see people ask, is there a tutorial for that? No, there's not a tutorial for that. There's a tutorial for that element, and there's one for that element, but you have to have the higher brain function to be able to put those two things into the same work of art. And that's where, like I've said, that's where the experience comes in. How do you do it? I can't sit here and explain to you in a typed out message and a comment on a Facebook post of how I did that. I can make a tutorial, or you could just stop, slow down, and think about it. Think about it. Because in my post, I put dogleash rope, what size it is, all the cord, the name of the weave, when it's a bracelet, the name of the weave, both the cord size and the cord color. Right? Now, like for something like this that's got different elements, I put up there Spanish ring knot, what color it is. 3-strand ring bolt hitch, what color it is. So you know what the knot or what it's called, the elements are called. If we'll take that little bit of information and go YouTube, type in how to tie a Spanish ring knot, and you'll find a tutorial and it'll show you how to do that. How to tie a 3-strand ring bolt hitch, you'll find a tutorial for that. You see what I'm saying? But then you gotta incorporate it all. That's where the artistry, the artistic expression comes in. Right? Okay. Like I said, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but so many people are like that. They just stop, think for a second, think. And if you mess it up, learn from it. and go on. You know, don't believe me. I get frustrated, and I'll be honest. I hate to say this, but hey, confession is good for the soul. Yes, there was much cussing involved in some of it. Not that so much, but some of this. This one, oh yes. You know, may the Most High upstairs forgive me, but I got frustrated with that. But it's a learning experience. Count it all joy when you face trials of various kinds, because we know that testing produces that patience have her perfect work. Ain't that what James said? Okay, now with all that said, I'll show you this too, right here. This is something I ordered the other day. I don't know if the sale's still going. I really don't know, but I'll put the link below. I seen a sponsored ad on Facebook, and I was like, and I read a lot of the comments, and they were positive. I didn't see any very negative comments. And I said, well, what's the deal? What's this special, whatever? Okay, I'll say this. I've said this in the past. Let me back up just a little bit. I said this in the past. Tools. Most men understand this. Women who do crafting and things like that, they understand this too. Right tool for the right job. Right? Tools are not a loaf of bread. Bread will go bad. Tools do not go bad. Right? Take care of your tools, and tools take care of you. Now, I know if you got mechanical tools like moving parts and electrical parts, that stuff can wear out. But for the most part, your tools, if you take care of them, they will last. So, investing money in a high-quality tool is a good investment. Right? Okay, so with that said, I've told people in the past, if you can start off learning a new skill with a crappy, low-grade tool, and you can do the skill, execute the skill well with that crappy tool, imagine how much easier or better your project will be if you get good tools. Case in point. These things are eons above the American-made ones you buy. I don't care where you get them. Paracord Supply Company or off of Amazon. These far outweigh the ones you buy. These are brass, blunted. Somebody recommended these, and I was like, these are by far the best thing best investment I ever made. It's a stitching needle, lacing needle, fid, whatever you want to call it. Right? Okay, now, well, that's it. I have been using 7-inch. If you don't know, from tip to tip, 7 inches. That's how these are measured. Pair of ginger cloth shears. Gingher. And these are basically like when you were growing up and your grandmother or your mother had a pair of cloth shears in her sewing kit. If you went over there to use them to cut something, you got your hide. You got tan your hide. Whooping. They spanked you. Right? Maybe that's what's wrong with the world today. They don't spank their kids. But that's what I've been using. Right? Now, these are some high dollar ones. I've priced these. They're about $40, $50. Now, you can get a longer set, bigger set, $60, $70, $80, right? I've been using these. Okay, now, but these are my wife's. She doesn't use them very much, but she said, hey, I'll let you use these. Since I don't use them, I'll let you use these. I said, okay. I told her. She said, because I know you're going to take care of them. I said, yep. I said, I'll tell you this. I'm not going to cut anything with them except paracord. Which, when you stop and you think about it, paracord is nylon, which is a form of plastic. So that's probably not the best thing to be cutting. You know what I'm saying? Using these to cut nylon. But that's the only thing I've cut with them. And they've done well. They're still sharp. But when it came to the dog leash rope. I'm like, yeah, I got to do something better. Because, I mean, it cut through it, but it was a little, because physics and all that, and they're short scissors. You can't get them open real wide and get the leverage to cut and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, maybe I need to invest in some larger scissors. Well, okay, with all that, I come across a sponsored ad on Facebook for a set of 9-inch scissors, okay? And everybody was praising them. I'm like, well, let's go check it out. And it was 50% off, and in the little description, they were comparing them to this actual brand. And they said, if for whatever reason, they said they're 50% off, and if for whatever reason you get them and you are not satisfied for any reason whatsoever, keep the scissors, and we'll send you a free pair of ginger scissors. Now, that's not where these came from. I already own these. But they said, we'll send you a free pair of ginger scissors. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I didn't look into all that, but I'm thinking, well, how much are you going to charge me for these pair of scissors you're selling? They were like $45, and it was half off of that. So it was like $23. I was like, $23 for a 9-inch pair of scissors. I'm like, that's about what you're going to pay at Walmart. Anybody knows, you go down to Walmart or craft store and you buy a decent set of scissors, you're going to pay $15, $20 for them. I'm like, $22, why not? I'll take the chance and we'll see. If they're crap, it's only $22. Not that I want to waste $22, but we'll see. And I ordered them, and I got them. Guggenhein. So the irony is not lost. Let me point this out. Guggenheim sounds German, correct? The fine print on the back of the box, it says, designed by Guggenheim in the USA. But the icing on the cake, made in China. You see how the marketing is all a deception? They give it a German name, like ginger, to make it sound as if it's quality German engineering. But it was designed by them in the USA, but it was ultimately made in China. Do you see that? Anyway, it doesn't matter. I just figured I'd throw that out there. Okay? It's all marketing. It's all marketing. But I got these things, and they're nice. I'll show you. It came with this. I've already used them and opened them up. It came with this little info type card, and it had a thing, a little decorative thing, but here they are. And I thought it was kind of neat that they're black, and I got a gold bolt. They're just kind of, but they sharp. Like I showed some people the other day. They are sharp. Now, I'm going to tell you, I would not want to put my finger on here, we all know this, and run it down that blade. It would cut my finger. That's how sharp those are. Right? But they're solid metal all the way. It's a solid piece of metal, okay? And just so you know, you may not be able to see it in the video, but the handles themselves have a molded piece of rubber around them. The handles aren't plastic. They're not made out of rubber. It's just like a pair of wire cutters or, some sort of electrical type hand tool. Any hand tools that have the little rubber coating around the handles. That's what these are. But it's solid metal up under there. And it got a little plastic sheet type sheath that they were in. And when I got them, I was like, well, let's test it out. Yeah, they cut. They definitely cut. I'll tell you that. They cut. But, what, $23? And the thing was, there was no shipping. I was like, well, how much? You going to charge me? See, there's a lot of places. Yeah, it'll cost you $20. And you're like, wow, that's a great price. But then when you go to buy it, they charge you $15 to ship it. I'm like, really? It's not costing, I know it's not costing you $15 to ship it. It's costing you like $7 to ship it, but that other $7 and $8 you're putting in your pocket to make up for the price that you're charging so low for. I know how these things work. I did fall off the turnip truck yesterday, It's like Guggenheim, designed in the U.S., but made in China. Yeah, it's all marketing. But I was amazed. No shipping cost. I was like, okay, for $23 and no shipping, let's try it. I bought them. They're good. They're worth it. I would recommend these things. Guggenhein. I'm going to put the link to where I got these below. That sale may still be going on, and may not. But whatever. I'll put the link down there. You can check it out. They were like $45 and then half off or whatever. It was like 20. How much was it? $22.46 or it was basically like $23, $24 for a set of these. And they shipped from Texas, and I got them in about a week. It was a little less than a week. I think I ordered them. Let's see. I ordered them. It was either a Thursday or Friday when I ordered them, and I got them the following Thursday. So it was about 6 or 7 days, which, that's about right. But, yeah, there's that. Okay, now, with all that said, let's get all this out of the way. Let me put this over here somewhere that's not going to get dropped and knocked off into the floor. Right? Got to take care of the tools, especially tools that have blades and points on them. We don't want to bang, stabbing. It's not that they're going to stab the concrete in my shop, but it's going to bend the tip. We don't want to do that. Okay, now, with all that said, let's get to the box. Here's the box. Like I said, I got some colors. I got some actual cordage this time. There's a little bit of dog leash hardware type stuff, but I got some cords. And I'm sure there's people who've watched the past 2 or 3 ones I've made, and they're like, dude, I don't want to see all your little end caps and O-rings and snap, lobster, crackle, pop hooks. Yeah, but hey, that's what I ordered. But this one it's got some of that, but it's got some cords in there also. So, let's get this over here. And now, like I've said in the past, this one hasn't been dropped and dinged. I mean, it's got a little dent there. But nowhere do I see split in the actual box where you can see down inside the contents. I've said that in the past. I'll say it again. If you get a box, not necessarily a package too. If the package has been damaged and it looks like it's open when you receive it, take pictures of it. Before you actually open it, take pictures. Same thing with one of these boxes. Because there's often times when I ain't going to say often, but it has happened, when I get one of these boxes and it's coming all the way from Europe. So, but I can tell it's either been dropped or snagged or something, and it's dented on the thing. And what that does is it will break open this piece of tape that's holding it together. It will crack that, and it pops it open, and there's a big gaping hole, and you can look in there and see the contents of the box. Well, what can happen is potentially the contents of the box falls out during shipping. So if you ever get a package and it's been damaged or whatever, before you open it, start taking pictures of it. Take a picture of the label so they can see and all that kind of stuff, and then start taking pictures of it so they can see the damage. That way, when you open it up and there is something missing, you get in touch with the company and say, here's the pictures of the box, there's stuff missing. Either your company forgot to put it in the box, or it fell out during shipping because of this, right? I've had to do that a few times. And, I never had any issues. They always, a lot of times I tell them, if it's like, $4 or $5, $6 item, no problem. Don't worry about it. I get it. It's cost of doing business. I'll eat that $6. But y'all be aware of your packaging method probably needs to be improved on. The way you're taping in the box style of boxes you're using. Maybe you need to improve on that. But if it's a significant, priced item, yeah, I expect reimbursement on that. And when that happens, they want pictures so they can turn around and report it to the shipping company. Because somebody's going to pay for it. And I guarantee you, if it's a shipping company's fault, shipping company's going to eat the price on it. Does that make sense? Oof. Okay. Let's see. We got. What we got here? Here's the flyer. Black Friday wigs. Get 5, pay 4. On many products. Yeah, they did that. I want to say they did that last year. Offers are available from November 1st to November 22nd. Now, for some of y'all who don't order from Paracord EU, that's no problem. I do. I order most of my stuff from them. I've just gotten used to paying. People always, how much is the shipping? It's between $20 and $25. But if you order enough, it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. You're going to pay $7, $8 to ship something from the United States, like Paracord Company, whatever. I live in Alabama. I can get it shipped from like a Paracord Company that's in Utah, I think is where it's based at. And the other one is it North Dakota? Doesn't matter. And I can order it, paying $8. Some companies, they do free shipping if you order over the certain amount. Well, guess what? Back to that whole marketing ploy. This product here at this company, let me do this again. Product here will cost me, just making up numbers, $7 to order it. Then they're going to turn around and charge me $7 to ship it. So how much did I pay? $14. This company over here, it's free shipping. How much is the product? $15. So who's cheaper? Neither. They're the same price. They're just labeling free shipping, but they're overcharging you for the item. This one over here, the item's cheaper, but you're paying the shipping. You see what I'm saying? It comes down to how do they ship it? Which one gets it to you faster? You see what I'm saying? You're going to pay it no matter. But most of the companies here in the U.S., you order Paracord from them, it's usually about $7, $8. Standard flat rate shipping. Some places do it by weight, so if you order like one little spool of micro cord, they're going to charge you $3 to ship it or whatever. Not many people do that. Most people order they order a large quantity, right? So you're going to pay $7 or $8, and you're going to get it in 4, 5, 6 days, 7 days, right? Okay. But that's it. And it's going through the United States government, Uncle Sam postal system. If I order from Paracord EU coming from Northern Europe and the Netherlands, it comes via UPS. I ordered this stuff on Thursday, and I got it today, Monday, at approximately 11 o'clock in the morning. I ordered it Thursday morning sometime. I don't remember exactly. I ordered it Thursday morning, and it got here. So you go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 4 days. Now, granted, I did opt for the UPS Express as opposed to the standard UPS. It's like $1 more. I'm like, I don't know what the difference is, but I'm going to pay the $1 more for the Express. And I get it. Right? Okay, well, there you go. There's the shipping on that. Then you got to factor in that all their prices are in euros. Well, for example, 100 euros is not 100 US dollars. It's more like $110, right? Okay, so you got to factor that in. But I'll tell you, the quality of their product is so much better than these companies pride on made in the USA, American-made Paracord. Yeah, I know, that sounds great, but guess what? The quality sucks. I'm going to just say it like it is. American-made Paracord sucks. Compared to the stuff I buy from these, I've never had a problem with their Paracord. Never. Stuff I buy from American companies, questionable. Very questionable. But anyway, they did this sale last year. Buy 5, get 4. Basically, you buy 4 of these, you get a 5th one for free. It's basically 25% off is what it comes down to. It's a 25% off sale. But they do it in such a way, it's marketing. They do it in such a way as, I can't just order 100 feet of cord and get it at 25% off. What I have to do is order 400 feet of cord and I get the 5th one for free. It's still 25% off, but it's all in the way they make you order it. In the way they're doing it, buy 5, pay 4. What it is that requires you to spend more money. Does that make sense? It's marketing, man. Buy 5. It's like, it's just marketing. But I may take advantage of this year. I don't know. Paracord Type 3, Type 1 in micro, biofan adapters. Yeah, Paracord Type 3 and Type 2 and micro. Yeah, I might take advantage of that. Here's the funny thing is, I bought stuff last year on the Black Friday sale from one company, and I spent some money. I still got a box right there on the edge of my desk that's got stuff in it that I still have not gotten to use. It's not that I haven't gotten to use it. It's colors that I'm like, yeah, I do use these colors, and I got it on sale. Let's just go ahead and order it. And I ordered, I don't know, 100-foot hank here, 100-foot hank here, and all this kind of stuff. And I have yet to go through the actual 100-foot hank I have hanging in my inventory in order to get to the ones that are on that desk. Now, some of it I have, but not all of it. Which I think is kind of funny. I still got it up there. I got boxes, don't believe me. I've got all this stuff hanging up. For those who've seen, my cord is on spools, and I hang it up. Now, my micro cord's sitting right here on the desk, which I need to do something with this. I kind of got it organized, but I need to, I'm constantly taking it off and putting it back, so it's always disheveled. I need a better system of that. I've been thinking about how to do it and what I want to do, because I want it right here. I want it accessible. But anyway, blah, 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 blah. I got all the spools hanging up, but I got that box sitting there. And I've got a box there, and I got a box over here on the floor behind me with stuff that I've ordered. It's got paracord in it. And I know I'm going to run out. Like, I'll show you. Let's see. I showed this last week. That's charcoal gray. And you can see how much. It's not, I'm going to run out of it soon. Well, before I run out, I ordered another spool. Obviously, this is American made, and this is from Paracord EU, but it's charcoal gray. It's the same color, same thickness, everything. It's the exact same stuff. Manufactured in a different place, I guarantee you, because this is from Europe and this is America, but it's the same stuff. But I know I'm going to run out because I use it quite often. I said, before you run out, order some more. That way you don't go, and you go to whip out, I need 8 feet of microcord, and you whip it out, and it goes, shh, it's 4 feet, it stops. You're like, and then you got to order something. You can't finish your project. I hate that. So I'll order it, and it'll sit there until I need it, right? But I've got a box right here in front of my desk full of paracord, and I got one over here on the floor behind me. And one of behind me's got this dog leash rope stuff in it. I'm still trying to figure out how to store that, because it's so thick, it doesn't spool around these spools very well. It does, but not so much. It's the spools I have to put on my 550 and my Type 1 and Type 3 and all that paracord, they don't work very well with that big thick dog leash rope, if that makes any sense, right? Just, it doesn't work. But I most likely will try to take advantage of this. But there's some new colors I've been wanting to get and stuff like that. But anyway, let's get this. I got off track on that. Here's the invoice. Oh, they put me another one in there? Oh, no, this is the thing from, this is the old flyer. And this is the new one. So that's what I was wondering. They've been talking about that Black Friday sale coming up. And I'm like, what are y'all going to do? What kind of sale is it going to be? Okay. This happens all the time. Rubber bands dry rot and they break. And you see how I hold this together? Yeah. It broke off of that one. I don't know. I pick all the time, and I'll pick up something, rubber band, blah, blah, blah. The next thing I know, I have a broken rubber band on my desk, and I'm like, okay, what was it going to? That's what I just picked up. That's what it come off of. So, let's go over here in my bag of, my desk drawer, and my bag of rubber bands. And these rubber bands aren't that old. They're less than a year old. Bought them at Walmart. And my shop is not... It's climate control. I mean, it's got... I'll say this. I'm down here in the basement, and the air duct is right above my head. Now, the person who owned this house before, they didn't put a vent in this shop. But what they've done is they've cut a hole. You know, I don't know how big that thing is. About 2.5 inch diameter hole in the duct. And that acts as a vent. So when the heat's on, a little bit of heat comes out of there. When the air conditioning's on, a little bit of air conditioning comes out, right? That's it. Now the basement, the actual basement out there, it has no vent in it. But the 2 doorways, the one going upstairs into the house and the other one going into the apartment space, they don't have the best rubber gasket seals around the door frames, especially the one going upstairs. So, you know, all that conditioned air from the heat and the air conditioning, all that, that's in the house proper, the living space, it filters its way down into this basement, into my shop. So, you know, is it climate controlled in here? Yes and no. Makes sense? It's not like there's no heat whatsoever or there's no air conditioning. It's comfortable in here. So, these rubber bands, I could see if they're sitting out in the, you know, the heat or the direct sunlight and they break and they get dry rotted. But my gosh, these things seem like I'm breaking. I guess it's because I use so many of them. But anyway, blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's get to this box. Let's see what we got. We'll go through, woo, all kind of cords. End caps, more hardware. That's most of what this is. I said this last week. These are the silicone. Here, let's zoom in. The silicone coated 16 millimeter swivel eye clip carabiner. That's what this is actually labeled as. Right? The yellow. Now that yellow is a little bit brighter than... I've noticed that with these silicone ones. Sometimes you'll get it in the yellow... That's just more yellow than the other silicone ones I have. Some of them are a little bit more faded pastel looking. This one is a little bit more vibrant. I've noticed that. The color of the silicone coating is not always consistent. And I don't mean from the carabiner to the O-ring. In the O-rings, there's a slight variation. But that's just part of it, man. That's just part of it. But that's what it is. I said last week, I ordered... The order, I think it was the one that come in last, whatever, but I ordered, they've got 8 different colors in this silicone coating. And I ordered one of every color. That way I'd have them in my inventory, just one of every color, as a, hey, this is the color you can choose from, to whatever. But they didn't have these. 2 days after I placed my order, before I even got the package, from the time I placed the order, to the time I got the package, in between there, I got an email saying product back in stock. I'm like, so I ordered one this time to go with it. This is some more. This is simply because on that dog leash I showed, I used one of these turquoise ones, so I ordered another one. Because those I can already tell are popular colors. It's a pretty color, don't get me wrong. It's a pretty color, so I ordered another one of those, another pink one, and a pink and turquoise O-ring. This one I didn't order last time, but I ordered it this time. My wife says, "Ooh, it's iridescent." Yeah, I guess you could say it's kind of an iridescent. I always look at it like an oil spill, oil slick. You look at it at an angle, and it looks like it's multicolored. That's what this is multicolored. They label it as jet fuel / neo, N-E-O, neochrome. But it's the same, you know, 60 millimeter swivel eye clip carabiner. Right? Okay. These... Here's something that gets me. I'll say this. They've got, like, these end caps. These are black and copper. Okay? Not black silicone, just black, regular painted and copper. These are, ooh, yeah, these are the premium ones. These are the cheap ones, the cheapest ones they have, the low grade, you know, basic end caps. These are the, what do they label that as? Premium or... Let me see. Hang on, I'll tell you what they label these things as. I forget. Pro end caps. 10 millimeter stainless steel pro end caps. Right? And these are just basically real thin. These are a little bit thicker material. I'll pull one out and see. Yeah, I can tell. It is. Yeah, it is thicker. Material thicker. I think these are actually, what are these actually made out of? These cheaper ones are like, I don't know what they're made out of. I'll hold this up to the camera. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this. But maybe you can see. Just look at the thickness of them. Maybe you can see that this one right here is thicker than that one. Hence why it's called the Pro. It's stainless steel. And you obviously it being thicker material, it weighs more. Okay? Let me see. While I'm sitting here thinking about this, let me look at this. And I'll tell you this. Okay, they've got basic end caps, then they have premium end caps, and that costs a little bit more, and then they have pro end caps, and this was considered a pro end cap, so that's the top of the line. Then they make some that actually have grooves, you know, etched in them in different patterns, like a single spiral or one spiral this way and one spiral that way. You know what I'm saying? And they cost a little bit more. But I ordered 2 of these just to see. Yeah, those are nice. Those are nice. Now, if I was to have to do with this, what I had to do with this, yeah, I might be a little upset. Now, they don't cost that much. I don't know. These things are like 30 or 40 cents a piece. They don't cost that much. But these things, yeah, it's like a little over about $1 or so for one of those. So, you know, about 3 times as much. But it's still not, it doesn't cost that much, you know. But that's nice. It's nice. All right. And like I said, this is black painted and copper painted or copper coated. Right. Okay. These, I ordered these just to see. These are 25 millimeter split rings rose gold. I got some black ones and I got some chrome ones. I got all kind of split rings. I'm always, if I come across new split rings somewhere, I'll order a couple of them to see. I've got a whole bunch of them over there trying to see where I can get the best looking ones that work for what I do and the cheapest. You know what I mean? And I figured I'd order some of these to see. Now, I got quite a few split rings over there. Some carabiners they had, these were relatively cheap. I said, you know, let me see what these are all about. Yeah, they're basic, cheap, nothing fancy. I mean, this thing was less than $1. But I wanted to see something. Yeah, it goes on there pretty well. Not that this is strong enough to be used with a dog leash. Probably not. It's probably, yeah. I wouldn't do that. I'm just more for like keychain type. You know, you make somebody a keychain sometimes they want a carabiner, or they want an actual split ring. Usually, if you're going to buy a keychain from me, at the price I'm going to charge you for it, because I don't make little cheap keychains. I mean, I can and all that, but if I'm going to make a keychain, it's going to be a nice keychain. I'll throw in the split ring for free. But you got choices. What kind of split ring? What color, what size, all that kind of stuff. I'll throw that in for free. But carabiner, same thing. Something like that, I might throw that in for free. If you're going to pay the price for the thing, I'll throw something like that in for free, because it doesn't cost very much. But one of the more significant ones, yeah, you got to pay for that. But I wanted to see. Not bad. Not bad. Other than the fact that the way it's made, the way that it's bit and made, it causes the metal part to tweak. That's just the way it's put together down there. Right. Now, I've got some I ordered from them. This one right here is the one I use. I've ordered this one from them. This is what is this? A 60 millimeter black. I want to say stainless steel. Right. Only thing about this one is the edges on it are a little. I could probably go in there and file them down just a little bit, but if you do that, it's going to take off the black. But that's the one I use. But the thing is, with this one, you can't. It's not the easiest thing to get that dog millimeter or that dog leash rope in there, because it's not quite big enough. And I thought, well, this one looks like it will work. Yeah, it goes on there, and it fits down in this small part. That was my to see if I could do that. That's why I ordered those. I figured if I'm gonna order, get a black one and get a red one. That's your two favorite colors, in case you actually want to use it for something. Okay, that's all that. Now these right here, this is where I was saying a second ago. This is what I said when I seen this. This is what I said a second ago. Okay, they make the O-rings. They make the swivel eye, snap, crackle, and pop hooks. Right now, then they make the end caps. The end caps, they have this finish. They have, like, 12 different finishes, 15 different finishes. Let's just say that. They have 15 different finishes of these end caps. Okay? The O-rings, let's just say, they don't have 15 finishes. They have 12 finishes. I'm making these numbers up, but, they have 15 finishes of this, and they have 12 finishes of this. Okay? Seems to me like, because you're going to want to match, when you do this stuff, you're going to want your end caps and this, and all the hardware, for the most part, of most projects, to all match on that one project. So it seems to me that if you have 15 finishes of end caps, you would have 15 finishes of O-rings, not 12, or 13, or 14. Same thing with the snap, crackle, and pop hooks. If you're going to have 15 finishes, you should have 15. That way you have every one of these, every finish you have made in this, you have one for the O-ring and the end cap. Does that make sense? But they don't. They don't. And it comes down to these metallic nails: stainless steel, bronze, gold, antique gold, light gold, silver gold, all this. And I'm like, yeah. So I ordered all the basic ones, and then I went back and I'm like, okay, they don't have a stainless steel one. They have a nickel, but they don't have a stainless steel. I got some stainless steel O-rings, but I don't have stainless steel end caps. I'm like, well, why don't they sell those? They do, but they're premium or pro or whatever. So I ordered them to see. All right? Now, for this, the end caps, they got antique brass and brass. And then they got gold. When you go to find a gold one of these, they don't have it. They've got antique gold and light gold. Okay, I got you. But then for these, which one are these? These, are probably the quote-unquote bronze ones, as they call it. Now, are they actually bronze, or are they just colored to be bronze? I don't know. They may actually be bronze. I doubt it. They don't look like they're actual cast bronze. But then again, they could be. I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. Just the way they're put together, because that rivet holding it all together cannot be, you can't cast it that way. But what I'm saying is, they got this in bronze, but they don't have end caps in bronze. So I'm like, well, what if somebody wants one of these? What do you do to match it? You see what I'm saying? So I went through and I ordered some of the little odd bits. And now that I got them, I'm going to compare the colors and the finishes and go, okay, does that make sense? That's what all it is. I'm like, now I get it. I get it. That's like I told my wife. I said, they most likely do not get all this stuff. Like, this is manufactured by this company. These are manufactured by this company. This is manufactured by another company, and all this is manufactured somewhere else. So, the company that makes these, and these put their own finish. And this company does their own finishes. And Paracord EU is not ordering all their supplies from one company. Therefore, the finishes aren't the same. Hopefully that makes sense. But anyway, there's all that. I think that's all the hardware. Like, I ordered a couple of buckles. I always order some buckles. These are brown 20 millimeter. Not silicone ones. These are just brown 20 millimeter or 3/4 inch metal safe lock buckles. There's like 5 of them in there. I get a little low on these. I don't use them very much, but it's getting a little low. There's one right there. So I ordered a couple of those. Now, I think the rest of this... Oh, no. Here's some hardware. What is this? These are O-rings. I think these are gold. Now, this is something I don't get. I want somebody to explain this to me. It's just a gold. I want to say, let me see. Let me look at this. I want to say this is a gold O-ring. Yes. O-ring, gold, 25 by 4 millimeters. Now, some of this stuff, it tells you on their website that it's... Now, I can see the seam. I don't know if you can see that on camera. Right there. There's a seam. Which I knew it was there when I ordered it. No problem. I knew it had a seam in it. But some of them are welded. Some of them tell you they're welded. Some of these items, they give you a strength rating. Some of them, they do not. So my question is, if it doesn't give you a strength rating, does that mean you better not use it on a dog collar because it's going to pop apart if a dog yanks it? Don't know. That's what I want to know. I had to go back and look. I mean, I ordered it just, not that I'm going to be using these on a dog collar, but, or dog leash, but the thing you gotta, it's these it's these. Focus, man, focus. Come on, focus. It's these right here that is where the pressure's going to be. And yeah, if you use an O-ring or a D-ring, just on the collar and this, that's where, yeah. But what I'm going to use these for is keychains. So, I ain't worried about it having 5 billion ton braking capacity on a key ring or a keychain. I'm not worried about it. But that's just something I thought about. I'm like, some of it's welded, some of them are not welded. Some of them, they're welded, but your website doesn't tell you it's welded. Some places it does say it's welded. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Some of them, they give you a rating. Some of them, they don't give you a strength rating. So I'm like, no, what's the difference? I mean, what does it matter? Okay, now. Oh, I got a sample of this. This is 550 Branch Brown. I got this because I wanted a sample to compare it to the color I actually got in the box, which is kind of funny, right? I ordered a sample of one brown, but I ordered a whole bunch of other brown. I ordered the sample to compare it to what I also ordered. Not to what I have, but to what I ordered. Because they look the same. They almost do look the same. Okay, let's see. First off, we got some re-ups here. What's going on here? Okay. Anthracite microcord. I showed all this in last week's episode. I'm not going to go through all of it again. All the different grays. Anthracite, smoke gray, charcoal gray. This anthracite, I'll just say this. This anthracite is the darkest. Actually, it's not the darkest. But it's one of the darkest grays on the market, European market, that you can find that is not black. In America, the darkest gray you can find that I know of is, I've seen stealth gray. Don't like it because it's not, I just don't like that color. And charcoal gray. Graphite. Charcoal gray and graphite, very similar. It's kind of, which one's darker? Yeah, they're about the same, just depends. Right? But that's it. Gray, European, anthracite. It's a solid color, and it's a lot darker. Now, it's not black. I promise you, it's not black. I showed this last week. That's black. That's anthracite. Right? But I use this quite often. And getting low, so ordered some more. That's the gray. That's what that is. Okay, then let's put all this back up. Before I get stuff rolls off the desk and gets lost. Okay, that's that. I ordered some more smoke gray. I just showed you. And see, this is the thing. Sometimes smoke gray. It's the same cord. Wait a minute. Slight color variation, not much. This is I don't know if you can see that on camera or not. This one was a little bit darker than this one, but no big deal. No big deal to get used. The only reason I can tell the difference is because I got them right in front of my face. But my point is this: some of this stuff you get from Paracord EU, it's pre-spooled. They already have it marketed, it's sold, and advertised as a spool, and a lot of times it's cheaper that way. But they also sell it by the meter. Meaning, if I want 1 meter, which is basically 3 feet, I want 3 feet, I can order 3 feet. I can order 1 meter. Or I can order 10 meters or 20 meters or whatever. But if you order 30 meters, which is basically 100 feet or more, they put it on a spool for you. So you can order it pre-spooled, or you can order it by the meter. And if you order enough of it, they put it on a spool for you. All right? That's hence the different shaped spools. Now, I would prefer to have gotten it like this because it's a smaller spool and all that kind of stuff. And the hole's big enough that it will go over here on my little rack easier. But if they don't have it, which they didn't, I just order it by the meter. That's the difference. That's that. That's what that is. Before I run out, like I said, before I run out, I'm going to order one. Have it in the wings waiting. Okay, here's that. Now, here's a new cover I got. I've got this in micro. Ooh, I got more. Ooh, goodness. More hardware. Pink. Pink and turquoise basic ink caps. What are these? Okay. More O-rings. What are these? I think these are nickel plated and they're black, obviously. I think these are the nickel plated ones. I have to go through and look. You see, these got a bunch of hardware. And we all know that's where the money is right there. Not that any of it's really expensive, but when you start ordering it like that, it adds up. Okay. But I've already got this one color in my inventory in microcord. I showed it last week. It's a silver gray. Almost looks white, but when you compare it next to, that's white 550. You can see it's slightly darker, silver gray. I've got it in 550 and I got it in micro, but I didn't have it in 95, right? Okay, now, and since I'm making all these mistakes over here in my 95, I figured I might as well get silver gray in it. Because guess what? Winter's coming up, winter theme type things, bam. Dark blues, silver grays, those colors look great for winter, right? I made some stuff last year, some dark blues and some silver grays. They looked great. They look great. Some buckles I've got that will look good. But I figured I'd get it. I had it in micro, I had it in 550, and I always try to get it in those three sizes. Micro, 95, and 550. If I got the color in one, I want it in the other three. And I just never ordered it. And plus, there is something I want to do specifically with this. Now, with that said, I'll show you this. I ordered white dog leash rope. Just basic white. I looked at a couple of other colors. And what I'm going to try to do, and I thought, you know what? Just go with the white. And I only ordered, I don't know, a meter or two because I'm not planning on. I ordered enough. I thought, maybe I can make a keychain in white and burgundy. Those colors look great together, right? But I've actually got a project I want to make. Something just popped in my head like a light bulb. Once you see, you'll know. I say, yeah, let's do that. Let's see if I can't do that. Just artistic idea come to my head, and I was like, I'll sit down and do it. It won't take me very long, just do it. But I needed white, so I ordered it. Then I ordered. Wow, how much of this did I get? This is smoke gray. That same color right there. Now, this is going to be used along with this and this in this project. Right? But I figured smoke gray, it's a very neutral color. It can be used with a lot of things, so I got that. That's why I got so much of it. How much of that did I get? Oh my gosh. I forget how much of it I got. $6 meters, which is about, what does that come out to? It's about almost 20 feet, I think is what it comes out to. I've done the math before. But that's nylon, right? That's what it feels like. Yes, nylon. That's Snow White is what it's called. That's nylon also. Feels a little softer in your hand as opposed to that PPM or that polypropylene. Now, the only difference I know of, really, is this stuff is lighter and less dense. This polypropylene will actually float. That's what it says. It will actually float. It's water resistant. It's very light, therefore it will float. This, I imagine it won't float. It doesn't tell you it will float, so I imagine it won't. You drop it on the water, it's going to get saturated eventually, and it'll sink. This supposedly, I might want to test that out. Cut me a piece of it, go in there and drop it in a bowl of water and see what it does. But we're going to keep this back in the box and keep it nice and clean. Okay, here's the other one I got. The other dog leash rope color. This color is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I've got it in micro. I've got it in 550. I've got it in 95. And now I have it in the dog leash rope. This is called Polar Blue. Very, very. Oh, that's just a beautiful color. And this color right here almost matches. I have to get one out. Hang on a second. I've used one of these before. Is that it right there? They silicone tactical safe lock buckles. I label it, when I post it, I label it as a pastel blue. It's just a light blue or blue. And I have the navy blue, which is darker. I use them a lot more often, but this, it almost matches that perfectly. That polar blue, that color polar blue, not that, you know, those two be going together on a project. Now, I mean, you could use this on a dog leash. Don't get me wrong, you can use that on a dog leash. But they just match. But that's just a beautiful, beautiful color right there. And one of my collector friends, I was asking his wife, or I asked him about his wife and what color she likes. He said, light blues. I'm like, there you go. Because I was going to make her a keychain. Bam, there's your light blue. And that's a beautiful, beautiful color. I wouldn't, it's not so tinted that it would be considered a pastel. That would be pastel blue right there. It's been so tinted. When I say tinted, meaning white has been added to the hue itself. It's so tinted that you can barely see the hue of the blue, right? That's pastel. That one, it's tinted, but it's not as tinted. So you can still see that it's a blue, right? And it's a very beautiful blue. Okay, there's that. Now the rest of this, here's one. What is this one? Dark green. Woof. Dark green. I've got a couple of greens over there. I'm in a crisis of green. I ordered this. There's another one called Alpine Green, which I don't think is quite as dark as this, and I meant to order a sample of it, but I didn't. I put the order in, and I thought, did I put that sample of Alpine Green on there? And I looked, and no. I'm like, I just, next time I order from them, which probably be in a day or two, I'll get a sample of that. But this is dark green paracord type 1, it'd be 95, 30 meters, right? Compared to hunter green. They almost look the same. This one looks a little bit darker. Now what I'm going to do when I get up from here, I'm going to go over and compare this to the actual 550 greens I have. I have like a dark hunter green, or is it dark forest green, and an emerald green and all that. So this is emerald green. This is almost the same. See, Paracord EU doesn't have a emerald green paracord color, right? But I don't know. Those are all. That one appears darker. Hunter green, emerald green. This one appears darker. Looking at them this way, I think I would have to say that this dark green is more comparable, more the same to this than it is to that. Okay, the reason I got all these greens out here, I ordered green. Like I said, if I order them, I've been wanting to get this color anyway. Is that a bad spot on the cord? Look at that. Sure is. It's a snag in the cord. But if I order it in one size, I usually like to get it in the other sizes. Leaf green. Leaf green, 550, 95, and micro. And these were all, well, I don't think that one is. But these are pre-spooled. You see it's got a label on it that tells you. And this was packaged in shrink wrap. Pre-spooled. So it's a little bit cheaper this way than buying it by the meter. But there's those. I won't be wanting to get that. And like I said, I'll throw out some colors for you. That's Holy Guacamole. That's from Paracord EU. Some American colors. Olive drab. Olive drab in nylon and olive drab in polyester. And then this is just labeled as green. It's polyester. It's just labeled green. I would call it like a Kelly green. Right? But you can see an olive drab and a leaf green. It's very light. It's almost on the color scale thing they show. Most of their colors go, in order. You can see like dark, and they to the real light one. This one is down there on the end where like neon green is. Now it's not quite neon green, but it's down there on that side. I want to say there might be one or two colors in between these two. Which I've been wanting to get this. They had grass green, but they didn't have it in the 3 sizes. So I went ahead and got this one in the 3 sizes. Bam. Okay, now, here's the one. I don't use a lot of these colors. Let's get the greens out of the way and let's go to this. Okay, here's rust. This is American-made nylon rust. Mr. John, you used this one the other day. If you're watching these videos, here's chocolate brown, nylon American-made. And then this one is brown. It's just brown. It's polyester, right? Okay. And I'm sitting there going, where's that bracelet at? That bracelet I got in here, let's take it off and I'll show you. That's espresso brown. That's very dark. Okay. Okay, it's darker than this normal brown. Then I ordered this. And I got it also, because they had it. That's one of the reasons I ordered this one. They had it in the 3, pre-spooled micro, 95, and the 550. But this is hazelnut brown. Right. Not as dark. I don't know how well you can see this on camera or whatever. It's not as dark as the normal brown. But it's darker than that chocolate brown. Here, let's put this one up here so we can put all these back in the box. That way they don't get lost. And I can sort through them and hang them in their appropriate spots. Hey, that, what I say, rust, chocolate brown, hazelnut brown, and then brown. These are all nylon. This one is polyester. Okay. And then I ordered this sample. I almost ordered all of these in the same sizes, but I was like, they're so close. In fact, they were either right next to each other or a space or two between them color-wise. And I was like, let's not spend the money on some browns that you don't use very often that are going to be very similar. Just order a sample and let's see. Now, to my naked eye, yeah, you can see it on camera. Maybe, I don't know how well you can see that. But this one is, this right here is darker. It's just a darker brown. Not much, but it is. But the reason I ordered those is like this. Like I've said this here's the thing. I think I mentioned this last week. I know I see something to my wife about this. If you're trying to figure out, like say you have a color, and you want to know what it will go together with very well in a contrasting type thing, like Superman, red and blue. Those are very contrasting colors. Or the Joker, green and purple. Hulk, green and purple. Those are very contrasting colors, right? If you want to know, get you a color wheel, study basic art, but here's the way you can do this. You can go on one of these websites, like say you have a color, and you want to know what color it goes very well together with in a contrasting type way, complementary color, if you will. You want to know, what you can do is go to that Paracord company's website and type in the name of the color you have and let it spit out results. And most likely it will spit out that color and then all these other chords that have that color in it. And most often you will find that color in a quote-unquote diamond pattern chord along with another color. And that other color on that diamond doesn't necessarily have to be a diamond pattern chord, but that's the one you're going to see most often. That color you have in a diamond pattern on that chord, what is the other color on that chord? That is going to be most often a complementary or a contrasting color, right? So, with that said, passion pink. Because I know pinks and browns go together very well. But I'm like, this is pink, but it's more on the purpley side. It's got a little purple in it compared to, like your rose pink. So I'm like, okay, what brown is it going to go with very well? Because I don't have a lot of browns. So what I do, I type in passion pink, and I start looking at the results, and it comes back hazelnut brown. Hazelnut brown and passion pink in a diamond pattern chord. And I'm like, yes, they look great together. Hence why I ordered the hazelnut brown. But while I was looking at that, I went and looked at their, like I say, they if you look at all their quote-unquote basic colors, they have them in the order, like darkest to lightest, so to speak. And I start looking at that one, and I see what's on either side of it, a little bit lighter, a little bit darker, and I had that branch brown. And I'm like, well, that looks good, too. And I want to say they also had one of those multicolored chords using both of these. And I was like, well, which one do I want? So I went with this one. But I was like, I'll get the sample of this one. Makes sense? But, yeah, that's what I got this week. I'll do this again. Rust, chocolate brown, hazelnut brown, brown, and then that one's espresso. And that goes... See, that looks okay together, that chocolate brown. Looks good with it. But I think that... What is this? Okay, this is 1.2 millimeter. Yeah, I can tell by looking at it. That's why. But those look great together. I don't know how well you can see that on camera. Yeah, you can probably see a little bit better there, but those look great together. I may have to do something. And also, this one right here, most likely, it goes very well with that, too. I did that keychain. That's dark green. I did a keychain in, what did I do it in? I want to say, I've showed this before. I just happened to just pick these colors. I had scraps and I put it together. I'm like, man, those look good. I want to say that's emerald green and that passion pink. It might be, I think it's emerald. I'd have to go back over and compare because I don't use these greens very often. So I can't remember just by looking at it what it is. But I think it's emerald green. It might be, what have I got over there? Dark hunter green or dark forest green and emerald green and baby puke green and, oh wait, that's not a color. But you see what I'm saying? I got so many I can't remember off the top of my head. But it's either emerald. But yeah, those two look good together too. That passion pink and green looks very well. And then that passion pink and that brown look good together. But there you go. That's what I got. That's what I got. I got a bunch of new colors because this hazelnut brown and that leaf green, that's new. I don't have those in my inventory. But I figured I would get them. I've been wanting to get a brown that would go with that passion pink, and I've been wanting a new green, a lighter green. Again, back to my collector friend, his wife, light blue. He said her favorite color is pink. He said, and then greens and light blues. I'm like, okay, what color green? I mean, don't tell an artist green. There's only 50 billion shades of green. There's more than 50 shades of gray also. I'll leave that one alone. But I ordered some of this stuff. And, it's like anything. Like I've said, I order these colors because when I have them, I may not use them immediately. Sometimes I order the color and I don't have a specific purpose for the color. But I will put it in my inventory. And I will look at other people's work. Let's back out. I will look at other people's work for a couple of things. First and foremost, I'll look at the weave. Do I like that weave? Not the way they've woven it together. Are they a good weaver? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the weave itself. Is that a good looking weave? Would I like to do that weave? Right? That's one of the first things I look at. And the second thing is the colors in relation to the other colors they've used in that weave. Color combinations. Right? What looks good together? Okay? And that's why I will list the name of the weave and the colors when I post on social media. That way, if you do more than look at the pretty pictures, you can get the information without having to go, what weave is that? What color is that? Did you read the post? Did you read the post? Or did you just look at the color picture? The pretty picture. You see what I'm saying? But that's why I do that. Because that's what I want to know. I don't so much, I don't want this to be mean, but I don't care so much who you made it for and why you made it for them, and that doesn't matter to me. No offense, I don't know you, don't know your niche that you made. I don't know any of those people. So none of that honestly matters to me. I want to know what colors you used and the name of that weave. I want the technical information. Why? Because I may want to reproduce it or something similar. Right? Does that make sense? Now, not that you made it for your niece was diagnosed with cancer. Not that I ignore it. It's just that's not the information I'm looking for. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. But anyway, that's what I'll do. I'll go on the social media sites, and when I look at this stuff, I'll look at the colors, but the combos of colors that they've used. That's what I want to know. And I'm always trying to find colors that go well together, that look well together. I've done some stuff in the past that in my mind, it looked great. And then when I did it, I'm like, yeah, that doesn't look so good. And I made a few that I had somebody comment this one time, and I agree with them. They said, when I first seen it, I was like, what in the world? Why are those colors being used together? And he said, but the more I looked at it, it just makes sense. They look so good together. Yeah. What was it I did? It was rust. Is that rust? Yeah. It was rust and something else I used. I think it was rust, burgundy, and an orange. Have I gotten rid of that bracelet, or do I still have it? I don't know. I don't see it on my rack behind my head. I don't think I got rid of it. I don't know. Let me put my eyeballs back on so I can see a little bit better. Let me see if I can see this one. Yeah, here it is right here. It doesn't have orange in it. I was mistaken. Here, let's zoom in just so you can see this. It's rust and burgundy, and this is a orca. Yeah, an orca jawbone. I don't like this weave. I'll be honest with you. It's a very fickle weave. To get it to be even and consistent, it's tricky, and I don't like it. I've made a few of them back there, and if somebody wants one, I'll do it. But it's just, I just don't like it. So I haven't made very many of them. But orca jawbone and rust and burgundy. And those colors, they look good together. They look really good together. They're very fall-looking colors. You need maybe some yellow in there to kind of give it some pop. Not a real bright yellow, though. Maybe that ochre yellow would look good, or a goldenrod, or royal orange, or something would look good. That fox orange might look good with it, because it's not so bright. But anyway, blah, 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 blah. I made that, and I posted it, and the dude said, at first glance, I was like, those colors. And he said, but the more I looked at it, it just made logical sense, because they look great together. And I thought, yeah, you're right. They do look pretty good together. Those colors look good together. Rust and burgundy, they look great together. But just not my forte of colors to wear. So I haven't made a lot of these. And this being in my personal collection, it was just one I tried out. The weave and the colors. But anyway, I'm going to shut up. I've been talking for almost 2 hours. Oh, guys, why don't y'all reach through this video and slap me and tell me to shut up? I just start talking. But I guess that's it. I mean, I got a bunch of hardware I'm going to have to go through and organize the new stuff. I've been having to... That's just me. I'm a nerd like that, and I organize... it looks like chaos here, but my storage behind me, where I've got everything stored in drawers and my little containers... All that stuff's organized. It's very organized. It's only my workspace that's chaos. You gotta need a neat and clean workspace. Yeah, it is when I'm working and I've got my area. But yeah, this stuff, I've got stuff everywhere. But I have to go through and put all this in my storage units behind me and organize them. I've already went through and made space for them. I had to reorganize everything and kind of move everything. This compartment, this compartment, this compartment. I kind of shifted everything and moved everything around in anticipation of some of this new stuff arriving, right? And I've got a system back there so it's organized in my head anyway. And I've already got the space for it. I just got to put all this stuff in its proper... Every place has a thing and everything has its place, right? But, yeah, there you go. Let's see. I guess that's it. I've been talking long enough, so I'll shut up. I'll leave it at that. Hey, everybody, I appreciate you watching. If you got questions, as always, man, if you got questions, I tell this to people all the time. People say, man... I had somebody the other day say, that dude's a fountain of knowledge. And the other guy, he said, yeah, that's why we call him the professor. I appreciate that. I appreciate the compliments. I do. It's because I sit here and think about this stuff, and I do this stuff all the time. I'm constantly looking at the different paracord sites, what they sell, what the color is, what this thing's called, what size is this, how can I use that? I'm always thinking about this stuff. Right? And in just doing that, I've immersed myself in this. So, stuff tends to stick in the brain housing group a little bit better when you're constantly being surrounded by it, right? So, and I tell the people all the time, If you got a question, ask. Ask. If I know the answer, I'll give it to you. If I don't know the answer, I'll give you an educated guess and or I'll point you, but I'll tell you it's an educated guess. I'll tell you that. I'm not going to lie to you and give you an answer as if it's truth when I know good and well that it's not truth. I'm going to tell you, I don't know, but this is my opinion. But I'll point you in the right direction if I can. Now, there's some things I flat out don't know. Like I tell people, I am not an expert at all areas of paracording. Hence the learning process. That's what this is. This is my constant reminder of this is always a learning process. We learn from our stupid mistakes. Right? That's why I saved that. I'm going to hang this up somewhere on my desk, and I can look at it and go, don't make that mistake again. But if I got an answer, I'll give it to you. If I don't know, I'll give you an educated guess. Tell you it's an educated guess, and I'll try to point you in the right direction. You know, golden rule. Doing to others you have them doing to me. If I ask for help, I would want and appreciate somebody to help me. So I try to be kind. We are paracords of kindness. And try to be kind in all this and teach. You know. But back to the whole element. You gotta get outside the box sometimes and think for yourself and incorporate different elements. Learn all these different elements. See, that's the thing. I say this in all honesty. You have people that ask, is there a tutorial for that? The simple fact that you're asking that lets me know that you don't have the skill to do it. Because at first glance, you want a tutorial on how to do that. That tells me that you don't understand that those elements have been Frankensteined or pieced together to make that one piece. If you don't understand that, that most likely tells me that you don't know how to do those elements. Like a Spanish ring knot. That's not something a beginner is going to be able to do. It's not that it's really hard, and I'm no expert at that stuff. But if you're asking those kind of questions, that lets me know most likely you're not going to be able to do this. You just need to keep practicing, keep doing stuff, learning these simple elements, and then learning how to incorporate the elements together into one project. You can't always find a tutorial on a specific project you see somebody do. Why? Because they have used their God-given reasoning brain and some creative ingenuity and artistic expression and combined all those elements. Not a lot of times, but you can find, that's where the arts stuff comes into it. But if it's just making a cobra bracelet, yeah, there's 1,000 videos out there to do that. But when it comes to something a little bit more complex, you're not going to find a tutorial on exactly how to do every aspect of this. You have to learn the aspects in and of themselves as individual things, and then you have to incorporate them all into a project. And that's where the learning comes in, because what happens is you do things in the wrong order and you make mistakes like that. But, you know, it's all a learning process. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. But I realize, you know, if I see a bracelet that's got a diamond knot and a snake knot, it's got a diamond knot in the middle and 2 snake knots on the side, I don't have to go, is there a tutorial for that? Why? Because I already know how to tie a diamond knot. I know how to tie 2 snake knots. I just have to incorporate them on a bracelet. I don't need somebody to spoon feed it to me. Makes sense? So, you know, we gotta grow beyond the basics in order to become the maestro. Somebody calls me that maestro. I'm not the maestro, but okay. You just got to stop and think about this stuff and put it all together in into your own work of art. But with that, be encouraged, folks. Be encouraged. Be encouraged. It's all a learning process. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes all the time. Don't post a lot of them, but I'll talk about them on these little episodes. But It's all a learning process. We all are growing. Ain't none of us reached perfection. Not going to happen. Nobody's perfect. But we're all learning. And hopefully we can all learn from each other, and each other, especially my stupid mistakes. But with that, I'll end this one like I end them all. Keep it neat, keep it clean, keep it tight. Happy weaving, folks.